morning everyone. Welcome to your Saturday story. Another week has gone by very, very quickly. Where do the days go? So last week I read a story to you about Katie, who has a habit of climbing into paintings in the National Gallery in London. I wouldn't recommend it. You'd probably get told off. But Katie somehow or other seems to get away with it. So I've got another story for you. One of Katie's other adventures. This one is called Katie's Picture Show. And look at her meeting this tiger. Oh dear, he looks a bit angry. Mind you, she doesn't look very scared, does she? Let's find out what happens in this story. Katie and her grandma were in London for the whole day. When it started to rain, Grandma said, "Let's go into the art gallery and look at some pictures." Katie took Grandma in through the big revolving doors, the one marked "No Entry," of course, and it spun her round and round at least 7 times. These doors are fun, aren't they? Revolving doors. Katie had never been to an art gallery before. "It's very grand, isn't it?" she said. "I shall have to sit down for a moment after those dreadful doors," gasped Grandma. "You go and look at the pictures, Katie. Be sure to be back in half an hour." The first few rooms Katie came to were full of people. Katie didn't like crowds, so she went on until she found an empty room. Looks very grand in the gallery, doesn't it? It's a beautiful building. There were lots of pictures in the room. Katie didn't know which one to look at first. She stopped in front of a painting of a horse-drawn cart. Here we are. Can you see it? Here's the cart. "The Hay Wain by John Constable," she read. "Please do not touch." "Why not?" said Katie, poking a rather dirty finger at the painting. And to her surprise, it went right past the frame and into the painting. "This isn't a picture at all," cried Katie, astonished. "It's real." And then, looking carefully around her, she climbed right into the painting. I wonder why she looked carefully around her before she decided to go inside. I think she knew she shouldn't really be doing this. "This is fun," said Katie. She marched off through the mud towards a cottage. A delicious smell of cooking came from an open window. Just there. Can you see there's something on the windowsill? Katie found a freshly baked apple pie cooling on the windowsill. She helped herself to a rather large slice. It was such a good apple pie that she ate the rest as well. "Hey, that was my supper!" shouted one of the men on the cart. His dog started to bark at Katie, and she thought it would be best to leave. She ran back to the picture frame and climbed down into the gallery. Katie peered round the doorway of the next room. There was a guard sleeping next to the door, but he was asleep. Katie went up to the painting she liked best. "Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres," she read. "Please do not touch." But of course she did. It's a very grand lady, isn't she? "Hello, I'm Katie," said Katie to a lady sitting beside a mirror. "Enchantée," replied the lady. "I am Madame Montessier." "What a lovely dress," said Katie. "Are you French?" "Mais oui," replied Madame Montessier, "and very lonely. We sit here being looked at, but no one has ever come inside before. Now, you will stay for some tea, yes?" "Please," said Katie. "I have some cream cakes too. Now, un lampe ou deux?" asked Madame Montessier, pointing to the sugar bowl. "Trois," said Katie. She wants 3 sugars in her tea. Hope she brushes her teeth well. So they talked and talked, and they enjoyed themselves watching the surprised faces of the other visitors to the gallery. Fancy being inside a painting and looking out at everybody looking at you. "I have not laughed so much for years," said Madame Montessier. She was quite overcome. She had to use her fan to calm herself down. But Katie laughed so much that she spilt her tea. It was her 4th cup, and it went all over Madame Montissier's dress. "Oh, you clumsy child!" shrieked Madame Montisier. Katy, who had also managed to get mud all over the carpet, decided to leave. She helped herself to another cream cake, climbed out of the picture and back into the gallery. She's causing mayhem today. Katy wandered into another room and went straight up to the biggest picture. Look at this one. Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Les Parapluies, she read. Katy knew that that was French for umbrellas. And then she noticed a little girl with a hoop in the painting. I wonder if she'll play with me, she thought. Please do not touch, said the notice. But once again, she did. Would you like a cream cake? Said Katy to the little girl. Oh, merci, she replied. You can play with my hoop if you like. And soon they were having quite a game, bowling the hoop to one another. All the other people watched from under their umbrellas. Do you think it's raining in that picture? If it's not raining, why do you think these ladies and gentlemen have umbrellas? But Katy hit the hoop too hard and it flew right out of the picture. It bounced on the floor and disappeared into another painting. The little girl started to cry. Whoops, said Katy. I'd better try to find it. She jumped out of the Renoir painting and ran over to the other picture. Aha, this is where she meets the tiger. Henry Rousseau, she read. Tropical storm with a tiger. Please do not touch. But Katy couldn't see the hoop, so she climbed over the frame and into the picture. Would you go into a picture with a tiger? I'm not sure I would. Katy found herself in a wild jungle. The wind blew and it was raining very hard. She was rather scared of the tiger, but he was even more scared of her. He ran off into the trees. Katy still couldn't see the hoop, so she wandered off to explore. Eventually she came to a lake full of crocodiles. They snapped their jaws at her, but Katy just laughed and climbed up a banana tree where they couldn't reach her, and she helped herself to a banana. I wonder if she only has one. Katy seems to like more than one of everything. Just then Katy saw the hoop hanging on a branch. She pulled it down and then found her way back to the picture frame and jumped into the gallery. Katy threw the hoop back into the Renoir picture. Here it is, she said. The little girl was very pleased. They waved goodbye to each other and Katy ran off into the next room. Exhibition of Modern Art, read Katy. All the paintings are lent with kind permission. Do not touch. Katy looked at a very different kind of picture. Casimir Malevich, called Dynamic Suprematism, she read. Well, it would be fun to climb up that big triangle, she thought. And without checking to see if anyone was watching, she climbed inside the painting. When Katy reached the big triangle, she climbed up to the top and slid down the other side. Wonderful, she cried. This was the best picture yet. But Katy couldn't stop, and she fell further and further into the painting. It was like falling into a great big mouth. Help, she cried. She was very scared. She didn't want to be eaten by a piece of modern art. She heard a shout. Hang on there. It was the guard. He threw a rope into the painting. Katy held on to it with all her strength, and the guard pulled her back to the picture frame. That will teach you to obey notices, he said. Sorry, said Katy, who was covered in splodges of paint. I don't think I'll ever do that again. I wonder. After she had cleaned herself up, which took quite a while because the splodges of paint were so sticky, Katy thanked the guard and went to find her grandma. Grandma was snoozing on a comfortable chair. "You're late," she said when Katy woke her. "I hope you've had a nice time." "Yes, thanks," said Katy. "I really like looking at pictures." It had stopped raining now, so after Katy had brought postcards of her favourite pictures, they went to find a cup of tea and a cream cake. More trouble. Right. Can you remember everything that Katy ate or drank during that story? It was quite a lot. Maybe you could design a poster and draw all the things that she ate. Perhaps you could make it into a menu and do drawings instead of writing. You could even put prices next to it, couldn't you? Have fun, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next Saturday for your Saturday story. Bye-bye.